Hello everyone, it's your least favourite YouTube channel, the People's Union of Wales, and today we will be responding to a video posted by ex-Army Paz 49, called Welsh Independence is a Joke, and a message for Doreen Lawrence. So, just to get things started, I am now trying to make a comeback on YouTube. What else? Oh, yes. I'm going to be focusing more on the Welsh independence part than Doreen Lawrence, but there are some points he made about Doreen Lawrence that I have to talk about because they're stupid. So, let's dive headfirst into this.
Doreen Lawrence is the real racist and Welsh independence is a joke. There, I've said it. Hello again, folks. Now, before I go on to turning the whole of Wales against me and being ostracised by them, like I care, I'm going to talk about Doreen Lawrence. She's a race baiter, basically. Alright, her son got murdered in the most horrific circumstances, there was a racist attack, whatever.
Ugh. Now, I don't know much about Doreen Lawrence, so I'm going to try and plough through this one. But that, whatever, to me, just seems a bit disrespectful, the way he said it.
And it was horrible. But then she said, she wades into these race rows, or she makes things racist. She had her son buried in Jamaica because Britain didn't deserve his corpse, or wherever it was, she said. Fair enough. If my kid was killed by a black person, simply because that black person hated white people, I'm quite sure I would despise black people for the rest of my life. It's my kid.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now remember this quote.
And I understand her feelings. However, she sees racism absolutely everywhere. The fire service has come under attack by her for saying, she said that they were so slow because they were racist, the fire service. If Grenfell Tower Block was full of white people, they'd have been there faster. What an abhorrent thing to say. You know, Doreen Lawrence, if this country was so racist, it wouldn't have put up a memorial for your son, which is more than Lee Rigby got. Far more attention and far more time in Parliament and everything. Media attention, the lot, on your son, more than Lee Rigby. And he served his country.
Okay, saying, I served my country, I should get a statue, is stupid. Remember, Lee Rigby was one of millions of soldiers. Yes, he should get a statue, but not because he served his country. Because, well, he should get a statue because he served his country, not him himself, but the collective of the military force. But, you know, the government doesn't really care about soldiers. You're just body bags to them. They don't care about you.
And this country is so racist, it put a black woman like yourself into the House of Lords. I mean, come off it. If you hate this country so much, if you don't like us, and I kind of understand because your son was killed by white people, I'd be the same, but I wouldn't stay here, I'd fuck off. I'd leave, I really would leave.
Well, not everybody can do that. The argument, just leave, makes bloody no sense. Right? It makes the user look like a right bloody pillock. Because that person is going to need, the person who's going to leave is going to need a passport, visa, job, a house to go to. You know, so, you know, it makes no point just go back to where you came from or just leave. It makes no sense.
I wouldn't be slagging off, I wouldn't be wading into something that had fuck all to do with me and pulling the race card for no reason. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, enough about her.
So, remember what you said earlier? Well, just remember, all this bit that I was doing was him complaining about a racist who had a son killed in a racist attack. To put it in a way that I will understand myself, is he's arguing about a person becoming racist because her son died in a racist attack. But he says he would despise black people if his son was killed in a racist attack. Obviously, I mean black people, if the black people killed his son. Personally, I would just hate the person, not the entire bloody race of that person.
Back to Wales, the country of my birth. Notice I said that with a bit of a twang there. I don't know why. But they want independence, and I'm against that. I think the United Kingdom is better together. Ulster, Scotland, Wales, England, far better together. All right, we have our differences, we have our banter, but if you push us and we come together, then people shit themselves. Ask Germany. But I don't agree with the independence thing because it wouldn't work. You know, I was on the European Commission website the other night doing some research on this, and even they said that Wales's economy is underperforming.
And thus we want to leave. But the primary reason why this is the case is because of Thatcher. She ruined the economy of Wales and then called the miners that went on strike because she was closing down their workspace the enemy. Imagine being that bloody... My words can't describe it without getting this video taken down.
It doesn't do very well. It really doesn't. Westminster gives Wales 15 billion a year to prop it up. Now, if Wales were independent and didn't join the EU, it wouldn't be able to join the EU for a start.
Look, nobody wants to join the EU, which is why Plaid Cymru is doing poorly in the elections, in my personal opinion. Although, they did come third in Wrexham, which was owned by Labour until the recent election, which now is taken over by the Tories. But, I don't like the European Union for a bunch of reasons, and I'm trying to get a new video out. Maybe 3, who knows? About me just complaining about the EU, and you can see my thoughts on the EU if you scroll down on my channel.
The European Commission said that the only way Wales would be able to join if perhaps it joined forces with Scotland and Northern Ireland and it became one entity and joined together with one economy. But they won't, so they want their own... I understand Wales wants its own culture, and it's a good culture, it's a nice culture, it's a fantastic language, I speak it. I didn't speak English till I was about 6, 7 years old. You go to a pub in Bethesda and if you speak English, they'll speak Welsh. In many places in North Wales actually, and that's the truth, it does happen. People did challenge me on that since my video on it, and it's true. I've seen it happen with my own eyes, folks. So economic experts do say Wales would thrive, and this is all researched by myself, would thrive in the EU, but only if it joined forces with Scotland and Ulster. But that won't happen because Scotland wants its own thing. And the thing is, right, if Wales went independent, it would need a new currency.
False. Wales won't need a new currency. A good example is Australia and America. They use the same exact currency. Well, not the same exact one. They both have different bases of their own market. But they use the same currency, which is the dollar.
And apparently, I saw online, the new currency would be called the Fwint. It's spelt like that. Alright? The Fwint.
Okay, the person that came up with the word Flint deserves a medal. No, not a medal, a pat on the back, and he is an absolute god amongst men. Round of applause to that man.
Now, I'm a Welshman, and I have no idea what that means. Fwint. How much stuff for bread? Oh, there'll be 2 Fwints. Stupid, isn't it? Absolutely stupid. It's got to be someone from South Wales who did that. Right? There are... In Welsh, right, normal Welsh up north, I'm not slagging off Southies now, but there are no words for certain English words, like microwave. In North Wales, you say microwave. Down south, they say something like periadur ping, which means ping machine. All right, a microwave does go ping when it's done, but it's the most ridiculous name ever, translation I've heard in my life. Periadur ping. Ping machine or ping computer.
Oh my god, what a idiot. Microdon is Welsh for microwave. Periadur doesn't mean computer, that's cyfrifiadur. Oh, and poppy ping is Welsh slang, but Nah, doesn't matter. He obviously doesn't speak Welsh. At least go through the trouble to fucking look through a dictionary.
Doesn't make sense. As a North Walian, that makes me laugh. I'll just say microwave because there is no Welsh word for it. So a South Walian came up with Flint, all right? They'll need embassies all over the world. That's going to cost money.
I mean, you don't exactly need embassies all over the world. For example, the DPRK or North Korea, they don't have embassies all over the world. And also, only a few of their countries, well, only a few of the countries of the world are allowed to have embassies in the country, such as the United Kingdom or Japan.
Have the money to do that. They need to have a defence policy against terrorism. Every country has one now. That costs money. And a defence force, an army. It ain't going to happen. Wales cannot afford to do this.
Okay, I get the defence policy and defence force, but we can afford it. Not when we just start off, obviously, because then, at most, the Welsh army would just be a people's militia, just a bit more organised. But when the country starts to evolve, it's going to get better. If you're going to ask how, well, Wales is rich when it comes to resources such as tin, gold, copper, iron, and I think uranium. I haven't looked into it, but there might be uranium. And we have plenty of agriculture. Like, Wales's agriculture is massive. Like, anyone hear the story of that there's more sheep in Wales than there are people? Yeah, so food's not going to be a problem. Neither is getting money. So if we do trade with, let's say, the UK, currency is going to go up.
If it did go independent, then the strain would be catastrophic. The poor would be poorer. Taxes would have to go high to prop up the flint.
Yes, the poorer would get poorer in a capitalist society, but in a people's republic or a socialist society, each person works for each other rather than just the individual.
Try saying that without laughing. Flint. Jesus H. Christ. So that's that. It just wouldn't work. And also, if you did go part of the EU, you wouldn't be independent. You'd be under the law of Brussels. They would tell Wales what to do. So independence, cancelled immediately. You'd be under Guy Verhofstadt's EU empire.
I agree with him here. The EU is an imperialistic parasite that needs to just go. Nobody needs it, it's useless, and it is just why it exists baffles me. But there is a reason why it does exist, which I'm going to do in the next video, so you'll know why I have my deep-rooted hatred for the EU.
I know this is Union flag now, isn't it? I've got a bigger one, I found. Much better, isn't it? Covers the whole screen. Anyway, and when you're under the EU, you do as they say, and you take on board their immigration policy. Now, Plaid Cymru, they're not for independence, not for Welsh people at all. They're for the EU membership. They want subservience to the EU.
False. Plaid Cymru has been pro-Welsh for a long time, since its bloody inception. That's what it was made to do. It was supposed to be a place for the Welsh people to decide independence. And yes, they're pro-EU, which is the reason why they don't get a lot of votes. But they are for independence for the Welsh people, and which is what I've got to commemorate them for.
Now, Plaid Cymru MPs and people like Leanne Wood, the Antifa supporting fool.
Right, now what's wrong with Antifa? Honestly, if you're against fascism, good for you, you're an absolute Chad. And a round of applause for you.
Everything's far right. Ugh. Right? The immigrants wouldn't go anywhere near their leafy suburbs, their comfortable middle-class hovels. Right? The immigrants would be put into sinkhole council estates, and there's plenty of sinkhole council estates in Wales. I grew up in one. I was dragged up in one. Now, if the Welsh think that the English subdued them for hundreds of years and restricted their culture.
They did. They even made a law banning it, literally. It was illegal to speak Welsh in a public place. It was called the Act of Union. Also, as well as this, the Welsh Not. If you want to get into that rabbit hole, I suggest you search it up because it is quite brutal.
You ain't saying nothing yet, because the EU will force upon Wales a culture that doesn't assimilate, that doesn't want to integrate.
Ooh, assimilation. Awesome. Paz, you're an idiot. You expect a Pakistani in your local shop to bow down to your Welsh culture just because, well, you're in the country, might as well. Right. In my opinion, cultures are like food. Both are good on their own, but when you mix them together, wow. Right. But Paz, using the example of food, have you ever had a curry or a Chinese takeaway? Well, if so, that person brung their culture and, well, apparently you're against them bringing their culture over here, so you're a bit hypocritical.
And when it eventually takes over, will quite literally make you slaves. You will have to bend over backwards to this certain culture. And it'll put the English conquest to shame.
Right, Paz, no it won't.
I promise you. And you know who I'm talking about? Oh, I don't hate Wales. I left there to join the army. I left because I left school with nothing. I was raised in a certain community where it was a little valley thing. All right, the main employer at the time was the quarry. You couldn't get a job in the quarry unless you had family in there.
Wrong. Quarries and mines as well would accept anyone as long as they were able to join. As in, if you didn't have any legs, you're gone. Well, that was the problem with Thatcher. Everyone worked there, and when it closed, it bloody brought the country down. There was the detriment. I remember my dad saying that there used to be power outages because of the miners going on strike, meaning the lack of coal for the power plant and everything. So, it screwed over the entire country.
My dream when I was a little kid was to be a quarryman. That's all I wanted to be. I didn't want to go to the army or see the world or whatever I've done.
See the world. That tour got innocent people killed because they thought war was a fun adventure of jerry bashing. Well, war isn't a thing to see the world. It isn't that sunshine and rainbows. No, war is a horrible thing, and you shouldn't be condoning your work as a soldier just because you get to see the world. You don't. Well, you do get to see the world, but you get to see the worst of it.
Go to Buckingham Palace, Downing Street and all the rest of it. I didn't want that, it didn't interest me. But that's what happened. And the teachers in that school didn't really encourage you unless you were well off, basically. If you were dirt poor like me, they didn't give you the time of day.
Okay, so with that point, why are you pro-capitalist?
I went to a high school called Dyffryn Ogwen in Bethesda. I left that school thinking I was useless and thick, and I would amount to nothing. I would never own a car or a house. I'd never get a good job. I'd be on the dole for the rest of my life. A dosser. That's what I thought. That's what Dyffryn Ogwen School instilled in me. Bethesda is a little community where everyone knows each other and knows each other's business, and nowhere more so than the rugby club there. I do have an issue with the rugby club because it's like the people who think they are the elite go to Bethesda Rugby Club and they integrate, they drink, then socialise and whatnot. And any festivities, anything probably worth going to, fireworks, or it happens to this rugby club, and it's only them that get to attend or whatever.
Again, with that point, why are you capitalist? Why do you support the capitalists, my guy?
And if you're lucky, you get an invite. That's what I've heard. Anyway, I don't live there anymore. And it's not a really good place, so Wales didn't really give anything to me.
Wait, is that socialism? I thought you were anti-left. A country giving you things just because? My God!
Didn't do anything for me. All right, I joined a Welsh regiment, but that Welsh regiment was part of the British Army. A country like Wales couldn't afford to run a battalion, never mind a regiment of soldiers at the moment.
Oh my God, this again. Didn't I cover this? I did, didn't I? Go back to that point if you want the answer for this.
It's that poor. If it went independent, it'd be poorer. Communities like Bethesda don't help themselves because you have the elites in the rugby club who do everything for themselves, and they've got a new clubhouse and whatnot. They don't need a new clubhouse there. They need businesses. They need jobs. They don't need boarded up ex-bakeries and shut supermarkets and whatnot.
Supermarkets don't shut down. They shut down small businesses. Take it from a person who's seen this happen firsthand. Also, why are you still a capitalist if that's the case?
And the EU hasn't helped that. The Welsh community hasn't done that. It's like everyone for themselves, and it's quite sad, really. It really is quite sad. So there we go. I don't think it'll work. Wales would be better off. At least it gets 15 billion from Westminster. What will it get from the EU? It has to put money into the EU to get some of that back. And it can't afford to do that. It really can't. The only way to do it is to join the forces of Scotland and Ulster, but it's not going to happen. An independent Wales would make the people on benefits, the poorer people in Wales, even poorer, and put a massive strain on the services. It really would. And that's what I fear for, really. I don't care about the rich people. I've been dirt poor in Wales. I grew up dirt poor. And when you're dirt poor in Wales, you're kept there. Unless you find some oomph or something and get out of that rut. My ladder out of that hole was the army. And I did rather well for myself. Sadly, not many people do. They're kept down there by the Welsh communities. That's how they work. And I don't like it, and I left. So that's that. This video isn't going to make me any fans in Wales, no doubt. I have no problem with South Walians. When I was in the army, I had lots of South Walian mates, and the banter was just, superb. You need banter in the army. You need a sixth sense of humour. That's why I developed that. So yes, there are good people, but main communities like Bethesda are just shitholes who don't help each other, and it's a shame. There we go. So that's my video. Please share and subscribe. Until my next one, Roger Trout.
So, that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you tune into the next one of me complaining about the EU for half an hour. Also, make sure you join our Discord server if you want to, though. We have polls, debates, that sort of thing. I mean, it has died in recent years, but we're trying to make a comeback. So I'll see you all in the next video.